What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today I wanna talk about communication between convicts and guards. Does it happen? How does it happen? When does it happen? Let's get to it.
Yeah. I'm speaking truth from the cell to the streets. Did 24 years, now I'm finally free. H strong standing, no chains on me. Ex-con, ex-gang, but my soul found peace. Taught by the struggle, pain made me wise. I seen homies fall, seen mothers cry. Now I'm here to teach what the system denies. From the darkness I rose, Tupac in my eyes. This channel ain't clout, it's the scars I show. Life lessons in these rhymes so the young ones know. Dubs on the mic, watch the wisdom grow. If you walk through the fire, let your spirit glow.
So, while I was incarcerated, for the Southerners, there was a rule that if you had to interact with the cop, have somebody be there with you. Was that applied universally? No. That was more geared towards those individuals who maybe just weren't criminally sophisticated enough yet. And it wasn't one of those where you're not going to be necessarily trusted. It's more, the guard may have more game than you, no matter how much game you think you got. When you're just starting your time, if you're not somebody who's really been around stuff and laced up, been through YA, in the county, been around people where you were soaking up game, you could get tripped up. I remember a situation where there was a guy, youngster, 18 years old, and he was celled up with somebody that was part of the leadership on the yard. And he got, I don't remember the exact way it was put to him, but the cops, when he went to committee, he had been there for like a year with us. And when he went to committee, they rattled his bush. They rattled his tree, right? To see what's going to fall out. And they told him something along the lines of, like, he wanted to get a transfer closer to home. And they hit him with something along the lines of, well, your cellie is a shot caller on the yard, so you don't have any, like, basically your cellie is the shot caller, so this, they added, like, why would we transfer you? And his response was something like, what's that got to do with me? The response wasn't, my cellie ain't no shot caller. Now you're fucking. No, it was, what's that got to do with me? And then because of what he said, they opened up with the whole, oh, so he is, and this and this and that, and whoop, whoop. And that youngster panicked. And he locked it up in committee. 18 years old. Didn't know how to interact with them. And it was party over for him, right? I remember when we had this, they enacted this policy where when somebody got whacked on the yard, the group that was involved would get locked down for 2 weeks and then have to do an interview process, right? And the Southerners demanded that the interview process happen at the cell door so that the two cellies can hear each other, what they're saying. And what you're going to say is always, I don't know, I didn't even have yard. Wasn't out there that day. That's what you're going to answer, right? And the warden found out they were being done in the cell, at the cell front, cell door. They said, no, they got to go down to the rotunda. And then the Southerners demanded, okay, but both cellies get interviewed at the same time. And again, I don't know. I wasn't on the yard. The warden found out about that. And in the rotunda, there's two different offices. There's one for the counselor, and then there's one for the COs. So they wanted one at the counselor's office and one at the CO's office, right? So the Southerners said, okay, nobody's going into the office. So you're both standing, both Southerners were standing in the rotunda and can hear each other, whatever the answer was. Then they started doing it where you had to come out one at a time. And that's when we refused. It was a policy that we were trying to attack. We even tried to get it into the courts. We called it a snitch policy. It's in the Title 15. You can't be doing that. You can't target one group or put one group in a foul position on the yard. And that's what they were doing with that. Now, there are also the cat and mouse games. Guys who are seasoned enough are trusted. Even then, I remember I would have interactions on the yard, and I would tell homies, hey, stay within earshot at least. And I remember the game. I would study the yard cops. I would study the COs. But being on the yard crew, I really got to study the yard cops. And I got an understanding of which cops really didn't like each other. They were trying to outdo each other. They were trying to get to the squad. That's why they were yard cops. See, there's cops that are assigned to buildings. There's cops that are assigned to the chow halls. And there's cops that are assigned specifically to the yard. And those cops are assigned to specific factions on the yard. And so when one cop would try to engage with me about something, they're not going to get a thing out of me, but I'm listening. And I'm going to look for an opportunity to bring up the CO that I believe he doesn't like. And he's going to bite. And then when that CO he doesn't like will try to engage with me, he ain't going to get nothing out of me. But I'm going to bring up that initial cop that he doesn't like. Now, whatever conversation they're trying to have, my conversation is about their rival. But they would slip every time. And trying to out-ego each other, sometimes they would both say the same thing. If they both said the same thing, it's probably true. Because they hate each other. They're in competition to try to get on the squad. So, like I said, I used to have a homie that would post up nearby, and we would have we would laugh about it, like it's so easy. But that's because I had been schooled properly. And that's why somebody that doesn't have the proper education should be nowhere around them. There's other times where if the COs are having a problem with a Southerner in their building, they're going to usually go to who they believe is in position on the yard. Now, it's easy for them to know because dudes are dropping kites all the time. So the cops know who to get at. And even then, it's going to be one of those things where the CO is going to be extremely respectful. Hey, man, you know, this and this and that. And you're going to hear them out. Whatever. All right. Hey, gracias. I don't know who that person is. And then you get at whoever's in the section that's looking out for the section for you. And you ask, hey, what's going on? And if it's something where he's bringing heat, then we correct it. Because we don't ever want heat. You got knives in the cell, cell phones in the cell, dope in the cell. Nobody should be bringing heat to the tier, to the cell, to the section, to the block. Because Then next thing you know, the cops get mad like, oh, okay, you want to fucking disrespect? Hit that whole fucking block. Maybe some dope gets caught up. Maybe a knife or two. Maybe a cell phone. After the search, hey, Holmes, what the fuck was that search over? Oh, really? This guy didn't like something, huh? Well, you know what? Let's see how he likes this. We got a bunch of holes punched in him. You know, people in prison are in prison because they didn't like to follow the rules. And then they find out in prison, there's a lot of fucking rules to follow. Not the rules of the CDC. Fuck those. It's the rules of your day-to-day life. Your day-to-day life is a whole lot more important than that Title 15 and what the cops have to say and what they want you to do. Just another glimpse, another real look at the realities of prison in California. It's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.